Story Time is brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।
To the children all around the world, we greet you with the greeting of Islam, Assalamu alaikum, and we welcome you to another great session of Story Time when we listen to some inspiring stories from Holy Quran. And before we start today's session, let's see who's here with us today.
Hey, it's Areem and today I'm here to listen to some inspiring stories.
Good,
Hi, it's Larry.
good.
Hello everyone, it's Isha and she is also waiting like you all to listen to the interesting story.
Very good.
Hey, this is Moz.
Hello, Moz, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Okay, children, today we are going to listen to the story of Quran, the true story of Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. You know, when we say the name of a prophet, we say alayhi salam. You know what alayhi salam means?
We give respect to them.
Yes, alayhi means to him and salam mean peace and greeting. Alayhi salam, which means greeting and peace be upon him. So you know Hazrat Ismail, who was father of Hazrat Ismail?
Hazrat Ibrahim.
Yes, Hazrat Ibrahim was the father of Hazrat Ismail. Now, Hazrat Ibrahim had two wives. One was Sarah, the elder one, and the other one was
Hazrat Hajra.
Hajra, the younger one. Okay? And they all lived together, and in the beginning, Hajra had her baby, and his name was Ismail. So Hazrat Hajra was the mother of Hazrat Ismail. And many years later, Hazrat Sarah also had a son, and his name was Ishaq. And then another son by the name of Yaqub. And today we are going to listen to a story about Hazrat Ismail. And you know that Hazrat Ismail was the great grandfather of which prophet?
Hazrat Muhammad.
Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wow, kids, you're so great. You know your Islam. That's wonderful. Okay, so now today our story is about Hazrat Ismail. Now at that time when Hazrat Ismail was born, Hazrat Ibrahim used to live in a place today called Palestine or Palestine. Okay, he lived in a city called Al-Khalil. And this city still exists, you know. And there are so many people, Muslims living over there in Al-Khalil. Now, so at that time, Hazrat Ibrahim was told by Allah to take Hajra and her small baby Ismail all the way to the place which is today called Makkah.
How was the land of Makkah?
Makkah was barren, black mountains. No one lived there. Only wild animals, snakes and scorpions.
So how did Hazrat Ismail live there?
Yes, this is the most wonderful part of the story. So, such a long journey, thousands of miles, Hazrat Ibrahim traveled with Hajra and young baby Ismail, small baby Ismail, and they traveled and kept traveling. And Hazrat Ibrahim didn't tell Hajra and Ismail, of course, he was a small baby, that where he was taking them. And finally, one afternoon, they reached the valley of Makkah. And he left Hazrat Hajra in the valley with the baby, gave them some food, gave them some water, and he started to go back.
Hazrat Ibrahim?
Hazrat Ibrahim, yes. He turned his back towards his family and started to move away. Started going back to his home in Khalil, which was thousands of miles away.
So didn't Bibi Hajra ask him?
Yes, of course. Anyone would be scared, right?
Yeah.
So she was scared. And she looked here and there. And there was nobody. Just nobody. For thousands of miles, there was nobody. And she looked at him and she said, "Why are you leaving us here?" And Hazrat Ibrahim didn't answer. He kept walking, took few more steps. And again Hajra said, she took few steps towards him, leaving the baby on the floor, on the ground. She said, "Why are you leaving us here?" He didn't reply. He again walked few steps. She moved behind him and said, "Why are you leaving us here?" And still he didn't answer. And then she said, you know what she said? She knew what is happening. She said, "Did Allah tell you to leave us here?" And that's when Hazrat Ibrahim turned and he said, "Yes, I've been told by Allah to leave you in this place." And suddenly, Hazrat Hajra, who was so scared till now, suddenly became confident. And she said, "Then I'm not afraid. I have no worries. Allah will definitely take care of us."
So she had a really strong belief on it.
Yes, she was scared till she did not know that Allah has told Ibrahim to leave her there. And the second she came to know the reason that who instructed Ibrahim to leave her here, she was happy. She was no more worried. So Hazrat Ibrahim went over the small hill and went down. And though he was showing so much courage, he was worried and he prayed to Allah. He prayed there. He said, "Ya Allah, I have left my wife and my young baby in a place where there is no one, there is no food, there is no water. Kindly, please take care of them." And with this, he went away, knowing this in his heart, that Allah will take care of his family.
Was the baby old enough?
He was only 3 months, 4 months old. So now you want to know what happened to Hajra?
Yes.
So in few hours, the small bottle of water was all finished and food was all finished. And now the baby was crying and it was hot. It was getting late in the afternoon and it was hot and there was no water. And baby just cried and cried and cried. And that's when Hazrat Hajra start running around, looking here and there for some water, for somebody, some human being who can help her. So there were these two mountains, small hills, not mountains, small hills. One was called Safa and the other one is called Marwa. Safa and Marwa. And she climbed up the mountain, the hill of Safa, and she said, "Is there anybody here who can help us?" But there was
No one.
no one. She came back and she looked at her baby and he was still crying. Little Ismail just cried and cried for water. And then she climbed, went this way and went up the hill of Marwa. And once again, what do you think she said?
Is there anyone?
Is there anyone? What else? Can you help us? But for miles and miles she could see there was nobody. And then she came down from Marwa. She again came close to her baby and he was still crying. So she climbed up Safa and looked around and screamed, calling somebody for help. But still there was nobody. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
7 times?
7 times. You would be tired, right?
Yes.
Going up and down the hill. But she was a mother, right? And she had her baby crying. And she wanted some food and water for her baby. So she forgot her worries. And she didn't get tired, kept looking for water. And then a strange thing happened. And when she came down 7th time near the baby, she was shocked.
Why?
Yes, you know what had happened? While she was up on the hill, Hazrat Jibreel had come down near the baby. And the baby was crying and moving his tiny feet. And right there, Hazrat Jibreel struck the land and water started to come out. There was just water coming out and out and out.
That's really wonderful.
Wonderful. So when Hajira came down, she was amazed. There was water. And she drank some water and she realized that this is no ordinary water. It has lots of minerals. It has lots of energy. So she quickly gave some water to Ismail and he drank. And he was happy now. And he went to sleep.
So what about the food?
Yes, that's coming. That's still, wait for this still to come. But the water that was coming out was just rushing. And it was coming out so strongly.
Is there any special name for that water?
Yes, the name of that water is Zamzam. And you know what Zamzam means?
Mineral water?
No,
Pure water?
no,
Heavenly water?
no. Okay, let me tell you. You see, when the water was coming out, it was so strong. It was coming out so strong that Bibi Hajra said to that water, Zam Zam, which means stop, stop.
Oh, Zamzam means stop.
Yes. Stop, stop means Zam Zam. And that stopped the strong flow of the water, and water started coming out a bit slowly now. And many years later, our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us something very interesting. He said that on that day, if Bibi Hajra wouldn't have said Zamzam to that water could have taken over all the world. It was so powerful. And up to this day, that water is coming out. And people fill up their cans and still it keeps coming out.
That's what we get when someone is going
goes
on
to Umrah or Hajj. So now, when there was water, next morning a caravan was passing by and they saw water and they requested some water from Bibi Hajra. And she sold that water, gave that water in exchange for some food. And she got some food and gave her water.
So this
to
is how
those
she
people.
got the food and the water.
Yes. And when those people had some food and water, they requested Hajra that if they can stay in that valley. And Bibi Hajra said, yes, but I will be the owner of this water. And they agreed. And that's how more people started to come in the valley, because there was this rich and tasty and healthy water there. And they brought food for Hajra, and in exchange they got this wonderful water. So many months and years later, when Hazrat Ibrahim came back to his family, He was surprised. He was amazed. There was water and there were trees and there were so many people living over there. And he went to his wife and he asked her, what happened? Where all this water, where all these people, where all this food came from? And she told him the whole story. And then he told her that this is exactly what Allah had planned. And that night Hazrat Ibrahim slept, and in his dream he had this call. Allah told Ibrahim to sacrifice the most precious thing that he had in his life, the most beautiful, the thing that he loved most. Allah wanted Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice, to slaughter that.
His wife?
No, his son, Ismail.
But he was a small baby.
He was by now around 9 years old. Because Ibrahim came after many years. So after 9 years, when he saw his son and he was so happy, and they played together, and Ismail was hugging his father, and Ibrahim was so happy, suddenly he had this dream.
So how did he just obey that dream?
Yes, first he slaughtered some goats, and next night he again had a dream. Then he again slaughtered some goat, and again he had this dream. And that's when he went to Ismail and he said, my son, Allah wants me to sacrifice you, to slaughter you.
That's really sad.
Yes, and Ibrahim said, if Allah wants you to do this, then you must obey Allah. Don't worry about anything. And that's when Hazrat Ibrahim started to take Ismail to slaughter him. And Iblis came. He said, don't slaughter your son. Disobey Allah. Your son is more important. And Hazrat Ibrahim picked some stone and threw at him. And Iblis disappeared. And Ibrahim started walking again. Once again Iblis came. Don't slaughter your son. Disobey Allah. Again Ibrahim stoned him. And third time. And then finally he disappeared. And then Ismail was laid down, and Ismail said, Baba, put a cloth on your eyes, hide your eyes, so you don't see me getting slaughtered. And Ibrahim put some cloth over his eyes, and he took a knife, and he laid down Ismail, and he moved the knife over the throat of his son.
Did he really do that?
And right when he was about to slaughter him, while his knife was coming down, Hazrat Jibreel came rushing from the heavens. He brought a lamb from Jannah and he took away Ismail and put down the lamp.
That was a test?
That was a test. That how well Hazrat Ibrahim obeys Allah. And Hazrat Ibrahim moved the knife. He didn't know, right, that he was not slaughtering his son. He thought that he's slaughtering his son.
So did Hazrat Ismail knew?
No, he didn't know. Of course he didn't.
So he thought that he was being slaughtered.
Yes. And Hazrat Ibrahim moved the knife and blood came down and fell on his hands. And Hazrat Ibrahim was so sad. Tears started to roll down, thinking that his son is slaughtered. And after moving his knife, cutting the throat, blood started coming out. Hazrat Ibrahim pulled up the cloth and he saw Ismail standing there smiling and a beautiful lamb slaughtered. And Jibreel was there, and Jibreel said, congratulations, Ibrahim, you have passed the test. Isn't this a wonderful story?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
What do you like about the story?
That the obey of Allah, that sacrifice has done.
Yes.
The best part was how the water splashed out of the
Yes, that was
Yes.
also there. The minerals.
Many parts in this story were related to Hajj.
Hajj,
like the
yes.
stoning and
Yes, Yes,
planning
yes.
of Safar.
Yes.
So is this Hajj in
Yes.
the memory of Hajj?
Yes, exactly. Hajj is in the memory of Ibrahim. So going on the hills Safa and Marwa is in Hajj. Drinking Zamzam is Hajj.
That's why
Stoning
after
is also
every
Hajj.
prophet.
Sacrificing animal is also Hajj. So there are 4 things in Hajj that we do in the memory of this event. So children, tomorrow we will be here again in story time with another great story of Quran. So till then, keep obeying Allah and keep listening to your parents. And we say to you now, Assalamu alaikum.
Story time was brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।